As a fourth-generation entrepreneur and business owner, I know the grit and grind that it takes to run a business. With ChingonSA, we're capturing stories from other local business owners and sharing them with you, our querido community of San Anto. From the culture, for the culture. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of ChingonSA right here in the MIG studios. Super excited to be back with you this week. And also to welcome our guest. Man, I'm so excited to bring to you guys Niki Deeley. Niki Deeley is the president of Dealey Media International, one of the first digital marketing firms to offer artificial intelligence as a solution for small businesses. Niki is an elite member of a group called The Forum. It's a group of digital marketers of the top 1% of digital marketers across the country. They are conversation strategists in the country, with Niki being the only female member of the group. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That's really cool. How long have you been a part? So tell us about the Forum. What is that? What does that mean? What does it mean to be a part of the Forum?
Yeah, so the Forum is an organization, but it's called a Certified Conversion Strategist.
Certified Conversion Strategist.
Yes.
I said conversation.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. So basically what it is it's a rigorous stage way to make sure that you are who you say you are and that you are truly one of the 1%.
Yeah.
So you had to show your financials. You had to be shown on all major media. There was a lot of things that you had to go through. I became one because I moved from Orange County, California to Dallas, and it was a good old boys network. And I was actually thinking strongly of going back to Dallas because we didn't have that barrier.
Sure.
But my advisor, my business coach, basically said, Nick, find something that will set you apart. And this is what I found. And I qualified. So every year over the summer, I'm asked to create 200 sales funnels with various businesses. It could be retail, e-commerce, professional. I have no clue. It could be a carpet person. It could be somebody selling children's books. So I have to find where on the Ethernet is that prospect, create the messaging for them to come down a sales funnel and pay with a credit card, a real live credit card. This isn't just fictional.
Sure.
200 times. If I fall short at 197 or 199, I don't get to keep that designation until the following year.
Wow. So there's a lot of really good markers and requirements to keep someone honest, I guess, in order to be a part of this group.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yes.
And you're the only female. How long has this group been, kind of in place? How long has the organization been around?
Well, I don't know how long the organization has been around. I know I have been a member since about 2009.
Oh, wow.
So a long time.
So this is like even before really AI is anything big, right? Like AI has just come around.
AI has been around for 20 plus years.
Oh.
You may know about AI because of ChatGPT or Grok, but if you had an iPhone and Siri is considered AI.
Oh, okay.
So there's some other things that AI was already infiltrating our market,
right? But
we just didn't associate it with AI.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So how did you get into AI? Like what? Most people probably have no idea what AI is outside of ChatGPT or Google just came out with Gemini, right? Or Siri, for instance, right? So like, explain to me, like I'm a 5-year-old, what AI is and how you help business owners, get more clients or do what it is that you do, right?
Yeah. So I became a certified AI specialist because I didn't want to lose my certified conversion strategist title because I work so hard for it every single year. I mean, 200 sales funnels are a lot every year.
Sure.
And I go blind. They don't give me the cheat notes or anything like that.
Right.
So I ended up looking to find out how could I learn AI, because I knew that's where the trajectory was going in business and in what I do. I'm a digital marketer.
So let me ask you real quick. How did you have the forethought to know that that's where, like, how AI was going to infiltrate the digital marketing space, that business owners were going to need it? Like what clues did you have into that? Like,
well, mainly because I've mastered my craft. If I don't master it every year, because things have changed. Like, who would have thought TikTok would have been a platform to advertise for your business even 5 years ago?
Right.
So in order to keep that designation, Luis, I had to be always on top or 5 steps ahead of where I thought the digital marketing space was going to go.
Yeah.
And so I've got a great team behind me, but I'm very involved with Silicon Valley. In fact, Stanford University has recently asked me to create a class on AI and digital marketing.
Did you use AI to create it?
No. Well, yes and no. Yes and no.
Sure.
Because they wanted me to hone in on AI resources. Yes.
Yeah.
And did I use AI to help me? Yes. But then I had to tweak it because they wanted it to be from me. How can I impart this wisdom? Right. So basically, I saw the writing on the wall. I'm also very tied to an organization through some very influential people like Sir Richard Branson and Grant Cardone, that we work together, and that's how I knew that this is where the puck was going to go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you're not originally from San Antonio.
No.
How did you end up here? What tell me the story about that.
Yeah, so I am a Texan.
Okay.
So if you touch me and pinch me, I'm authentic. I'm from Amarillo, Texas. My dad was in the military, so I'm a nomad, basically. Yeah, sure. My parents live here. My sister lives here. At the time, my husband passed away here, and I decided to stay here because I didn't have to be in the fishbowl in Dallas. Our family is very well known in the Dallas area, like Dealey Plaza. That was my husband's great-grandfather, the Dallas Morning News, Channel 8. They own like 14 or 17 radio and television stations. Wow. And here I can just be Nikki, and they can know me and not the influencer of the family.
Sure.
And then in Dallas, his mother's side is the Cockrells and the Carpenters. Well, there's a John Carpenter Freeway in Dallas. There's Las Colinas. There's Cockrell Hill. So needless to say, in fact, I'm wearing thongs right now because I can just be myself.
All right. Yeah, there you go. So what, kind of thinking about your background, how you got into the digital marketing space, your experience in there, why not go work for somebody as opposed to starting your own business? Like what?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think you've talked to my mother and daddy already.
Uh-oh.
When I was growing up, again, my dad is from the military. He wanted me to work for a company and get a pension because that's what he did when he got out.
Sure.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom and what have you. And so they freaked out when I said I was going to start my own business at 25 because it was things like, oh my gosh, how are you going to pay for medical insurance? And what if you can't make it? And just all negative. And I love them for it, but I felt pulled when I was growing up because I had a grandfather. I was the first grandchild. I had a grandfather that would tell me, he was an entrepreneur, very, very successfully. And he would tell me, think big, think big. One Sunday or Saturday, he picked me up, Luis, and he had 10 $100 bills on the bench seat. Remember trucks had bench seats back then? Yeah. You can tell how old I am. And it was feathered on the seat. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm rich. I know what $100 meant, much less 10 of them. Guess what we did that afternoon? We gave it all away. And I had to get out of the truck without him go find somebody in the parking lot to give it to. And then I came back into the truck and he would tell me, why did you pick that person, what they said. Some people were like, oh, no, kid, I don't need it. Some of them thought it was fake. I mean, I got rejected. I went through the gamut, and then sometimes people were teary-eyed. And so he was teaching me lessons like that, where you have to make money to really do good in the world. And I guess that's the side that won.
Interesting. So we were talking before we started recording, and one of the things that you said about yourself and that I read about you and on your bio was that you're you highlighted the word or the term avid introvert.
Yes.
And it's interesting that you're talking about how your grandfather like kind of pushed you out to go talk to people on your own without any sort of prompting from them. And I've seen you also in interactions, right? Because we're in the same networking group together.
Yes.
And I've seen you interacting with other folks, and it's hard for me to believe that you're an introvert.
Well, I've tested very much so over and over, because a lot of people don't believe me. I recharge when I'm by myself. I can be at home all week and not have to talk to anybody, and I'd be happy as a clam. But because I own 2 companies, right? You have to get out there. You have to push yourself out there. But it's a stretch. So when I leave the meeting and I'm leaving, I'm now like, oh, it's quiet now.
Yeah.
I used to fly to Dallas. Now I drive because it's quiet. Nobody bothers me in the 5 hours that it takes to drive there. Right. So the real terminology is called an ambivert. That means I will rise to the occasion to be outgoing and friendly and kind. And I'm generally that person. But it takes a lot of work, especially when I'm in a large group. But I recharge my battery when I'm all by myself.
Interesting.
In fact, my favorite thing to do is to be on YouTube and watch the videos all by myself. And I can do that for hours and just be happy. In fact, when I was a little girl, my mom used to say that I could never be bored in a room all by myself.
Well, I hope you've got the podcast queued up in your YouTube channel now that we're on YouTube.
Of course.
So, Niki, you work with a lot of business owners, primarily smaller business owners. Based on what I read online about you, what do you feel like? So it's kind of a 2-part question. Number one, what do you feel like your biggest challenge is currently? And what do you see your clients and other small business owners as they're facing their biggest challenge today?
My biggest challenge is imparting strongly enough or in a more influential way to business owners. They don't have time. They have a 3-year window, according to Elon Musk, who I think is brilliant, and Mark Cuban, and some other digital marketers or AI people in that space. They basically said, and then there's 2 large reports that spans over a year of a consulting firm. Bain is one of them. They're known very well.
Sure.
That Bain said you have 5 years to 2030. Elon Musk and Cuban says you only have 3 years. And we're 25. That means 2028. If Elon and Mark Cuban are correct, and businesses have only 3 years or less, because we're already in the first quarter of 2025, they said that if you have not started implementing AI seriously in your business, you're going to go out of business. And in my space and what I see every week, I could see that's very true. I've already seen a bot go onto a roof, take out the shingles, and put them on. That has nothing to do with a human person. And I always get, well, that's never going to happen in my business because XYZ. And I'm just thinking, you are so naive. You are so naive, because what if you're wrong? What if I'm telling you? What if Elon Musk is telling you? What if Mark Cuban is telling you? What if even Bain is telling you? You're going to go off the cliff, whether it's 3 years or 5 years. Why wouldn't you already see the warning signs? Hello, Houston, we have a problem.
Sure.
So that's my biggest concern. And it goes beyond just using ChatGPT. I'll give you a perfect example. One of my friends in Dallas, he's very wealthy. He needed to have a home redone because his wife's parents have passed. And, you know, there's got popcorn ceiling, I don't know what it's called, but that acoustic texture.
Yeah.
And it smells, and the carpet hasn't been replaced in like 20 years or such. Well, he went and got 3 quotes, one of which was the typical one. Oh, let's go see your project. Let me talk to my crew. Let's go find out what it costs, blah, blah, blah. That whole thing took about 6 weeks. He went to somebody else who was already AI-ified, and he got it in less than a week. Guess who he hired? The AI-ified general contractor.
Sure.
And mainly because he felt like if they were that forward-thinking, that efficient, they were going to be more apt to keeping everything on budget and on schedule.
Sure.
And that's who they chose. And that project was over $150,000, Luis.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, just kind of, you know, based on what you're saying is, businesses who are not using AI or technology in general to make their businesses run more efficiently, to help them, you know, using tools, using AI bots and chat bots and things like that, to make their systems, their processes more efficient, more user-friendly for both internal customers as well as external customers. Those are the ones that are going to be more successful than those who are not.
Exactly. And it's not only internal. It can be even just as easy as customer service. It can be having a bot answer questions 24/7. If I'm a nurse and I get off at 11 p.m. and I get home at 11:30 or 11:45, I'm wide awake till probably 2 o'clock, 3, and I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm just generalizing.
Sure.
But what business is open at that time? Probably not. So if I had a generative AI chatbot on my website, on social media, that would answer the questions, that knew how to push to get an appointment or pull back, offer more suggestions, case studies, or whatever. It works 24/7, and it's designed and it's now programmed to help you. You could be asleep at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'll give you another example. In my company, I cloned myself. You actually know Brian. He did my video.
Yeah.
And we got it cloned. So now if I get an appointment...
Not physically, you didn't clone yourself. Digitally.
Digitally,
yes.
Yes. Am I real right now, or is this Memorex? I'm real. But now I use my clone. If I see on my calendar there's somebody that is asking me the same thing over and over, then I will put my clone in that Zoom call, not me. I work now 25 or 30 hours a week because of AI.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, a lot of my team members were very reticent of, oh my gosh, do I have a job or whatever? And I kept telling them, yes, you do, but we're going to be more efficient.
Sure.
You're not going to be as stressed out.
Right.
And you're going to learn a craft that even if I were to sell or drop dead or something, you're going to learn something that you can take beyond Dealey Media International.
Yeah, and I think that's super important for business owners. Even in our business, we've made a conscious decision and effort to not necessarily put AI out there for our customers to directly interact with, but we use it as advisors to further enhance the relationship with our customer, in the sense that we run very efficient because of the tools that we have, that we give our agents to use, so that we can focus more on the conversation that actually matters with the customer, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what sets us apart from others in our industry. And so, yeah, like I can totally see the value that AI has to the relationship, in industry, because that's the business that I'm in.
Yeah.
And
you're in a people business.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So how can you be more efficient? But it could be simple things like, I don't read my emails anymore. I mean, being the owner of the company, oh my gosh, I'm sure you get a ton of emails. Oh, we wanted it. Do you have time for this? Or even on LinkedIn, right? People are wanting to connect to us all the time for that one-on-one. And I've got this great deal, which is fine. But I don't read any of them anymore. AI reads them. It puts it in a file. I review them. And then I click send. Bingo, I'm done. So what used to take me about 2 hours, 2.5 hours a day between LinkedIn, because I answer those pretty much personally, or my inbox, it now takes me 15, 20 minutes.
Nice.
Yes. So it's simple things like that you can bring into your company, or any workflow that you're doing over and over and over and over.
Repetitive tasks, menial tasks.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And we use it a lot to integrate our different softwares that we have. We have so many softwares or pieces of technology that need to interact with each other, but because a lot of them are owned by competitors, they don't ever talk to each other, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to find ways to kind of work around that. And one of the ways is using technology, integration technology or AI technology to make those systems talk to each other.
Yeah.
I can totally see the value in that. And I think business owners who are not taking advantage of that, are asking for trouble. For their longevity, for their legacy, and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. What do you see how do you see your business impacting? I know your company is international, right? But like, how do you see your business impacting the local community, the San Antonio? I know you're involved in a ton of nonprofits as well. Mm-hmm. But like, what are you doing? What is your company doing to help impact the local San Antonio community?
Well, I'm sitting here on your wonderful podcast for one, and I'm very grateful that you had me as a guest today, Luis. Well, I'm trying to get to as many local businesses as I can, various ways: podcasts, interviews, classes, introductions, events, mainly because unlike Dallas, it's very progressive. They've got a lot of Fortune 500 companies there. Or Austin, that's really known to be tech savvy, right? Mm. Like Silicon Valley is to California. San Antonio is the 7th largest city in America, and we're only about an hour and a half away from Austin. There is no reason why San Antonio cannot be just as effective or penetrate our small businesses with technology, AI, for example. There's just no reason to. It's just a matter of penetration and patience and talking to as many people as possible. So I have put myself out there. I give, a free 30-minute consultation. I get a lot of people just referring me as a certified AI consultant. Certification is very different than just saying I know AI or a specialist. I had to go to class. I did pass. I have over 10,000 prompts in my repository. I've got over 14,000 off-the-shelf solutions in my repository. So I had to learn all this stuff. And I have my own clone now. So I'm a product of really what I'm espousing other businesses to do for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Looking back kind of over, your 20 years of experience and being a business owner, what do you feel like is a lesson that you wish you would have learned sooner?
Oh, this is so easy. Well, I started Dealey Media International because people would ask me how to do something, and I knew how to do it. And I knew how to do it only because I went to help an orphanage in Mexico, Tecate, Mexico, when I lived in Orange County. And I thought, wow, if I could just do something digitally, because I'm not an introvert, I could do it, behind a computer quietly, then I'll be able to donate more money to this orphanage. And I fell in love with these two kids. And unbeknownst to me, I'm very competitive. I don't know if it's because of the way I was brought up, and my dad was, in the military, and they're very competitive. But my daddy used to say, think before you make a decision, and have plan B, C, and D ready if one of them fails. So that's how, I can still hear my dad's voice right now. But so the bottom line is I was very competitive. I even went to my bank and said, I'm going to open up an account under my current EIN, but a brand new one. And I want you to validate how much money I'm going to make. Would you do it? And they said, yes. Well, I made over $100,000 in 45 days.
Wow.
And that's what got me to start getting recognized from all the major media. And I was on Fox and Friends and Reuters and all this other stuff. But what I did, so that's how DMI started. But what I learned was it's not enough to do all the cutesy creative stuff, like a cutesy website. Well, if it doesn't convert,
sure,
nobody's going to come back to me.
Right.
So I learned real quickly after my ego had to be punctured somewhat. All businesses need lead generation. Mm-hmm. No matter what you have, they're always going to ask for lead generation. In fact, when we do AI assessments, we will assess a business from all the departments, right? And give them some tools that they can implement. And most of them start with sales and marketing. I wonder why.
Yeah.
So if the one lesson that I learned is get your ego out and find exactly what your niche needs. And in my case, it was lead generation. Yeah. And that's why we specialize in it.
Yeah. I love that. Humbleness is always something that I strive to. I'm not great at it. I'll be honest and say that. But I love learning. That's one of the things that I think has helped me along the way is that I'm not afraid to ask questions.
That's awesome.
And I'm not afraid to say or to admit when I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And then let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think you get respect. You earn respect that way.
Yeah.
That you're not the end all be all.
Right.
And that, like you said, you can be humble. Well, I was very much humbled.
Yeah.
In my case.
Yeah, that's fun. Man, this has been a very informative conversation. But as we wrap up, I'm always curious to hear what your thoughts on legacy is, right? What does legacy mean to you? What do you want it to look like? Both for your company and for you personally.
Yep.
What does that mean
question.
to you?
So I mentioned my grandfather, right?
Yeah.
All right. When he dropped me off at my house, he would always tell me, and in fact, even when I was putting my hand on the door handle to get out, he would grab me back into the cabin and on the bench seat and said, wait, or something like that. And he would always tell me, live your life in such a way that your life story is worth reading. Now, I'm a twerpy kid. I could care less what that meant, and I would ask him, what are you telling me? And it wasn't until I was walking across the campus at UT Austin, bing, now I got it. If you ever call my cell phone number, you're going to hear that. My signature it says that live your life in such a way that your life story is worth reading. You talked about legacy. So I am single. I don't have a husband now. He passed away. I don't have children. I never had children. I don't have a dog right now because I had to put him to sleep.
Oh, no.
So I'm kind of like an orphan. Somebody out there, please adopt me. But so personally, I want people to know that if they had an interaction with me, that they felt that I was right there with them. The world was apart, and I was right there with them.
Sure.
And that in some small way, you felt my love for you and acceptance, no judgment.
Yeah.
For business, however, I just launched my legacy product, and it's called AIBusinessMarketingHub.com. It's free. I basically have, we interviewed over 1,000 people, businesses. Like what, if you could create something, some kind of hub, what are the things that you would want in them? And so some of the things that they wanted was a CRM, the ability to have invoices. Instead of paying Calendly, they could have a booking feature there. The ability to email inside the hub, the ability to send SMS, text messages inside. But more importantly, this is my part of the legacy, is we create custom workflows all day long. Mm-hmm. And they are over $1,000. Some of them are $20,000 because it's very complex.
Sure.
In fact, in our AI bot, it's called Agnes AI, we have a very complex sales workflow for the different types of businesses. So for real estate or influencers, authors, consultants, blah, 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 it's unique. We would charge several $1,000s to create that because it's very complex. Well, you're going to get some very basic ones that most businesses would need inside the hub, absolutely free.
Oh, wow.
In addition, as I continue to master my craft, because I want to keep that designation every summer, I'm going to also offer a Zoom call periodically and share my knowledge with the people that are inside the hub. So, for example, one of them is going to be, we know the algorithm for LinkedIn. Well, what if before we knew the algorithm, the algorithm now is tied to an SSI score of 70% or more. My SSI score was below that, and it's still below that. But I went from about 36 times a week that LinkedIn was promoting me to now over 1,800 times a week because I know that algorithm. That's how Stanford found me to teach their class. Now, they didn't just say, "Oh, Niki, we want to hire you."
Sure.
I had to go through some interviews and such to get to the dean. So I don't want to minimize that it still took my talent to get it, right?
Yeah.
But if I could show you that, and now many people don't even know that, but your LinkedIn is now tied into Google. So you can actually rank yourself on Google just because you're doing the right things on LinkedIn.
Interesting.
So if I was to impart that to you, absolutely free, because you took me up on getting a free hub, right?
Yeah.
AIBusinessMarketingHub.com, then that's my way of giving back and saying thank you for all the wonderful years that I've had, because I love what I do. I hope that comes across today.
I would absolutely say that it does for sure.
So there is no monthly fee. It's really not a joke. There is a one-time setup. Like, for example, if we need to tie your Stripe account to the invoices, we're going to charge you $25. So the fees are minimum. We have to download and customize your workflows and what have you. So there's an initial cost there. Or if you want us to tie your Twilio, your SMS account, then there's a $25 fee. Or if you don't have a Twilio account, we'll still charge you $25, but you have to pay the fee for Twilio. Gotcha. And I think it's like $18 or it's around $25. So it's not really a lot of money to set up this free tool, this marketing hub. But think about it. If you don't have to pay Calendly every month, like $20 a month, whatever those minimal upfront charges are nothing.
Right.
And so that's what I want to leave as my legacy. And anybody who's listening, regardless of the time frame, can get a free account.
Nice. Well, cool. So this, again, has been an awesome conversation. I've really enjoyed learning more about you and about the business. And what you're doing to impact small businesses all over the world, really, but especially here in San Antonio, right?
Yes.
This is ChingonSA,
Yes.
And it's home. if people want to reach out to you, get a hold of you, get in contact with you, learn more about what you're doing, how you can help their business, what's the best way? Share with our folks what the best way to get in touch with you is.
Great question. And again, thank you for having me.
Of course.
So Dealey Media International, all spelled out. Dealey is Dealey, Media, Media, international.com. They can go on our website. There's our phone number. My direct extension is 700. So if you go on our website, I love to, take the calls. You don't have to go through a gatekeeper and layers. I'm very approachable, very accessible.
Nice.
And I would welcome the opportunity to see how I could even just give ideas of how somebody could be more efficient. And if they're more efficient, they're going to raise their revenues.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Are there social media links you want to share? Maybe LinkedIn or something?
You can go to my name, Niki, Niki Deeley, Dealey. That's my profile on LinkedIn. If you go to our website, all of our socials are there. They can just connect.
Gotcha.
And I would say to follow me just because I'm putting a lot of content out about AI.
Awesome.
Since, that's my specialty in lead generation.
Yeah. And as always, we'll be sure to link provide all those links in the show notes below. So if whatever your streaming platform is, just check out the show notes and we'll be sure to link Niki's contact information. Thanks again, Niki, for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. This has been an MIG Studios and Serafina digital production. We're so excited that you guys tuned in for another episode of ChingonSA, and we'll see you guys next week.